As a baby, her mother could not nurse her. The pain of feeding her was too much to bear. Pulling her child away to find milk and blood was enough for her mother to call it quits. She gnawed on teething toys before her teeth ever came in, bit her hands and fingers till they bled. Small scars had littered her skin long before age took them away. She was leaving faded marks of her self-mutilation. Her mother had to cover Mina's hands in vinegar to get the child to stop biting herself. The problem had only temporarily subsided. In first grade, her parents had gotten a call from the school that she had bitten a young boy. When asked why, she didn't have an answer. The boy's hand had been a bloody mess. Deep punctures from uneven teeth lines. Mina had been silent on the matter. The strangest thing about the ordeal had been her silence. The boy had whined and cried, claimed that Mina was a freak, and wanted nothing to do with her. She was transferred to another class. Her teachers assured Mina's parents that while the matter had been violent, she was just a child and should just be reprimanded not to do it again. Mina was aware there was something wrong with her. There was a gaping ache inside, and nothing ever filled it. A hunger that never escaped her. As a child, she assumed it would go away if she ate. She tried drinking different drinks, milk, water, and soda. Yet none of these things helped. One night, nearing morning, Mina went to the kitchen and grabbed the sirloin her father had been saving for dinner. The raw steak was in her hand, and she bit into the red flesh of the beef. The texture was cold and harsh, but she ripped it with her teeth and ate. Her hands were covered in the blood that seeped out. She felt hollow once more. The blood, the meat, the rawness of it was not enough. Mina cried and cried, unable to be satisfied. The ache had simmered down only once in her life and came in the form of a cat. Mina was in third grade, waiting for the bus outside her house. The pasture across the street was vast and dark. Mina stared out into that abyss every morning, wanting it to consume her. Maybe then, the ache would leave her. She was alone that morning. However, when is she not alone? A single light pole shined light above the young girl. Her shadow cast long lines on the dark road. She gripped her backpack tight. In the tall grass in the pasture, there was movement. Mina froze. She stared hard at the grass that swayed until a small black cat came from the void. They stared at each other for a moment. The cat hunched in fear before slowly walking toward the girl. Mina had stayed still, afraid to scare the cat away. The black cat came a few feet away and looked her over. Mina reached for the lunchbox in her backpack and opened it. The cat scattered, but Mina still grabbed the uneaten sandwich. She noticed the cat had hidden back in the grass and put the sandwich on the ground beside her. Mina stepped back further into the driveway to give the cat space. With slow steps, the cat approached her. She was eyeing both the sandwich and her. Finally, she smelled the bread and took a bite. The cat was starving. Its jaw was unhinged as it devoured the food offered. It filled itself in a way that Mina never could. Mina waited for the cat to finish. The bus was sure to show up soon, but she had yet to make plans to get on. The cat approached her soon after and brushed against her legs in gratitude. Mina named the cat Mary, and she had become her best friend. Mary wasn't allowed in the house because her parents didn't like cats. However, Mina diligently took care of her. She would sneak the cat inside at night so she could sleep with her. She would cuddle the black fur and fill a space long since vacant. Mina realized that it wasn't just a hunger that the ache desired. It was love. Mary would purr, and Mina wouldn't feel alone. They were best friends. Where Mina went, Mary would follow. Mary would wait in the driveway when the bus picked up and dropped Mina off. Mary would stay at the door to be secretly let in at night. She would meow to the girl whenever she came home as if greeting her. She grew up with the young girl and became a big, pretty cat. Mina hadn't felt the ache in a while. She whispered to the black cat, "I never wish to lose you." With reverence, she took care of her little Mary. She told the cat how much she adored her. Dreamed of a life where no one else had to exist, just her and the only thing that loved her back. However, nothing lasts forever. Mina was 13 when she tasted blood again. It was on her hands, the same hands that shook as they picked up her only friend. Her body was limp, head dropping unnaturally to the side and eyes wide open. Her mouth dripped blood onto Mina's hands as she cradled her body to her chest. The shadows cast harshly into the night. The moon glared down onto the girl who sobbed. She had come outside to look for her when the routine was broken. Mary didn't appear. Mina had left to look for her, only to find her by the road. Alone and battered, her body had only just started to grow cold. Mina cradled her friend and walked back to the house. Holding her for hours, she didn't know what to do. Afraid to bury her cat, for it would mean her death was final. She would be alone. She had pulled away from the cold body and sobbed. She pressed her cheek to Mary's face, and the blood smeared onto her face. Mina set her cat down on the forgiving soil and dug her a grave. Her hands shaking, and the dirt watered with her sadness, she laid her friend to rest. Mina kissed her cat's cheek one last time and tasted blood. She held her face close to Mary's. She looked over her cat's face, closing her eyes with her other hand and pressing her lips to her cat's face once more. The blood smeared onto her lip. She licked Mary's blood off her lips and put Mary into her grave. "You gave me your life, your blood, and made me happy," Mina whispered. She looked around before grabbing a piece of glass that had shattered long ago. She dug the glass into her palm and pressed the bloody palm to Mary's side. "Now I give you my blood, sympathy, and hope. Please, find peace in your next life, for I will not find any in this one without you." Mina placed flowers on the tiny grave. Life was expected to continue normally, but Mina had something inside her snap. Clicking into place, her hunger grew. She felt as if nothing satisfied her once more. She passed through life with apathy, rarely finding delight in anything. Her all-consuming ache was too much to bear. It urged her to end her own life many times. She placed her blade to her skin and cut up her arms and was displeased when she remained alive. Sometimes she'd cut herself and drink the blood, just to remember the taste of Mary. Her blood tasted different. Her blood didn't taste like love. Tasted bitter, cold, disgusting. She longed for someone to love her again and relieve the ache. If there was a God, then they had listened to her prayer. Mina had never been interested in other people, not really. She's had a hard time having friends. Even now that she's a senior in high school, she struggles. She is surprised that people now want to be her friend. A small group consisted of a man named Jaden and two women called Megan and Alana. Jaden had been the one to approach her. His attempts to flirt had fallen flat, but he quickly decided that being Mina's friend was good enough. He invited Megan and Alana with him the next day, Megan being his sister and Alana being her best friend. They poked and prodded at Mina, wanting to know everything about her and eventually deciding that they'd adopt the mysterious introvert into their group. It was Alana who talked to Mina alone, though. That would linger when the others left. That would ask if they could walk together. She asked for Mina's phone number before all the others. Mina was suspicious and asked why. Alana had looked away and smiled. "You're cool. I want to know you. Is that so bad?" Mina assumed nothing else of it at the time, until Alana became a constant. She wanted to hang out alone. Alana stood in Mina's personal space. She would buy her things, listen to her intently, and blush when Mina touched her. Mina was not an idiot. She simply chose to ignore it. There was too much baggage with her. Mina couldn't accept what Alana was trying to offer when she could not return it. Mina was damaged. Alana didn't care. She would wait for Mina. Alana had seen the conflict within Mina and was intrigued rather than scared off. She wanted to rip apart each layer that consisted of the thought-provoking woman. She'd do anything for a chance. Anything. Like most things, it started by accident. Mina had been home alone, and Alana stopped by with a bag of groceries and a bright smile. She had been reluctantly let inside. Mina's relationship with food had always been tense. Alana made it her mission to make it less uncomfortable, telling her that eating together improved the food. She played her music softly and hummed while cooking in a kitchen that wasn't hers. Mina only watched. "Why are you doing this?" Mina asked. Alana grabbed the knife off the stand and the cutting board. "I want to. It's stupid." The girl grabbed the onion off the counter and cut into it, ignoring the other's comment. It was silent for a moment before Alana hissed. She dropped the knife onto the counter and held her hand close to herself. Mina smelt it before she saw the blood. Her body froze as Alana turned around, and her finger had been sliced open, blood already pooling into her hand. The smell was intense, coppery and hot. Mina felt starving. Alana, teary and pleading, hesitated to ask for help at the look on Mina's face. Mina moved slowly. She was reaching out to touch Alana gently, her wrist being held close. Mina pulled the bloody hand to her mouth. She stared at the wound for a moment. The blood was now dripping onto her fingers. Mina locked eyes with Alana. She could feel her heart race, pupils blown wide, breath held in her chest like a bird in a cage. Mina leaned down, eyes still latched to hers, and licked the blood off her hand. Alana gasped but didn't pull away. She watched the girl tongue her wound and was fascinated by the sight of her blood on Mina's lips. The way it stained her mouth was a pretty color. The fervent desire in Mina's eyes. All of it made her insides burn. Mina had cleaned her skin of blood when Alana reached behind herself, grabbed the knife and sliced her arm. Mina's eyes widened. Alana do it. Mina didn't need to be asked twice. She had never felt such satisfaction. Alana's blood tasted better than anything she'd ever tasted. Her skin was soft, and the blood was pouring. Mina felt high off the feeling of fulfillment, as if her hunger had finally been satisfied. The gaping hole inside wasn't as big anymore. She tasted more of Alana's skin, kissing the parts that had been damaged before pulling away. Blood smeared onto her face, and her cheeks flushed. "Kiss me." Spellbound, Mina did as she was told. Alana held onto her hair, pain forgotten for pleasure. She grabbed Mina's face and forced her to look at her. She whispered over Mina's lips, controlling her. "You're mine now, got it?" Mina nodded. Whatever she wanted. To taste her blood, Mina would worship the ground she walked on. Alana smiled and tossed the knife into the sink. "That's enough for today, little vampire." "I'm not a vampire, Your thirst says otherwise." Alana pushed Mina's lip up to see her teeth. "Even if you don't look like one, they aren't real," Mina said, grabbing Alana's hand and glaring at her. "I'm not a monster. You're my monster." Mina let it go. Things continued like this. Alana kept Mina's secret for a price. An even exchange, she called it. Her life for Mina's. Her blood for Mina's affection. Mina would allow her appetite to consume her, an addict with an uncomfortable itch. Alana, being her only fix, became the center of her life. Where Alana went, Mina did. What Alana wanted, Mina would make it happen. When Alana wanted her on her knees, Mina was already there. Devoted to Alana in a way that even God wished he could compel his worshippers to do. However, good things never last. Not when Mina felt her hunger only grow. When the blood wasn't enough anymore, she wanted to consume Alana. She wanted to know everything Alana wore to bed, what she thought about, her favorite music. Mina drank in every detail as much as she drank her blood. Alana couldn't breathe differently without Mina documenting it in her thoughts. She had become obsessed. "Hold me, please," Alana asked. Mina had crawled into her bed and done as she was told. Silence enveloped them like a blanket. Mina memorized every piece of skin she could touch. She counted her heartbeats, inhaled her scent, and felt the warmth of her body. Mina hugged Alana's side and waited. Alana rolled to face her. "Will you kill me?" "What?" "I'm just asking. I don't want to do that." Mina felt repulsed at the idea at first. Then she thought longer. How would Alana's skin taste? Not just under her tongue, but in her mouth? In her stomach? In her soul? It's wrong. Is that the only thing stopping you? Morality? Alana turned in her arms to look at her. She pushed Mina back onto her spine and straddled her. Alana peered down into Mina's eyes. "Your hunger will never overcome you?" Mina held her breath. Heartbeat was erratic from its constricting cage. Her hands traveled slowly over the legs that held her down, tethered her in the reality of this moment. Would she do it? Could she control it? The taste of Alana's blood on her tongue sat heavy. She is reminded of all the years she spent starving for this. No, Mina whispered. Alana stared down at her. She gripped the t-shirt Mina was wearing. Her eyes filled with water. What if I wanted you to? Then I'd devour you. Do it, then. Mina sat up, Alana falling into her lap. She grabbed Alana's face, pulling it close to her own. She could see the sadness, fear, and turmoil behind her eyes. She didn't understand Alana's blunt request. Why, after everything, did she want this now? Mina looked down at Alana's neck. She pulled the shirt to the side, fingers dancing over her fragile skin. Alana tilted her head back. Mina caved. She took a bite out of Alana's neck. She bit hard onto the soft skin. Alana grabbed her hair and cried out in pain. Her body instinctually jerked away from Mina. Blood gushed into Mina's mouth, satisfying her hunger. She pulled harshly, and skin hung in between her teeth. She grabbed Alana's chin and forced her to watch as her jaw moved, biting down on the chewy flesh that invigorated her. Alana cried at the sight. I didn't think you'd do it. I said I would devour you. What else could this have possibly led to? You asked, and I delivered. Not like this, Alana whimpered. I thought. Mina pushed her back, crawling over her to cage her against the mattress. She felt powerful, taking the reins when they had been in Alana's hands the entire time. Her heart, her life, her hunger, all controlled by her. She loved Alana, but there was a certain satisfaction in using her. Mina licked away the tears that rolled down Alana's face. The salty sadness was refreshing. I thought you loved me. Is this not love? You'll always be a part of me. When Alana looked into Mina's eyes, heart, and soul, no one was staring back. A monster that had barely been tamed returned her gaze. Mina was inhuman. She tore her skin, drank her blood, and consumed Alana until there was nothing left. Bone peeked out through ripped skin, and Mina admired the sight. Mina, in the end, had always been a biter.